And welcome, everyone. I just realized I didn't record the intro to this podcast before we started this, so I'm just gonna open up with this. So no shilling intro. Now that I got you excited, we're still gonna shill. Haha! Look at that. The excitement and the enthusiasm is high. It's high over here. As always, shout out to all the members and channel members that are joining us for What If. Of course, those audio commentaries are dropping, along with additional discussions we record, and then we sprinkle out throughout the weeks. Of course, Tristan's comic books, video games discussion, whatever else extra, we toss it up on there, and there's plenty of it throughout each and every week. And as always, this is the host of the podcast, Armin, and I am joined by Mitch.
What's up? You can follow me on Twitter, Mitch692, and rest in peace, Sean Luck.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
comedian.
Yep.
Comedian. No, it's horrible.
Yeah, I thought I just saw something. Yeah, and we are also joined by Tristan.
And you can catch me at HJ Chance.
Yep. So it's one of those days we were just talking about it right before we started this. It's one of those days I'm low on energy, and things are going on, and things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I don't know if we can call it, but it'd be like one of the dog days of summer.
Yes. One of those. But
It's one of those days. Yeah, sorry.
Swear to God, Mitch. This is my last resort. We're just gonna make everything we say now a terrible song reference.
Terrible. That song's a work of art.
Oh, it's a work, all right. It's a work of some sort of art.
Just don't want to wake up.
Oh, yep. Well, with that in mind, there's not too much housekeeping we got to do. We're just gonna, I think, jump straight into the topics here, which we do have a few good ones to talk about. So, let's get right in. Let's talk about Marvel animation. So, after last week's show, we of course had a few little pieces of info sprinkle out in regards to Marvel's What If, and then we got the shake-up, the big change-up that's happening on Disney Plus in regards to Marvel Studios animation and the head of Disney Plus content, which Kevin Feige is still in charge of Marvel Studios, but he has Brad Winderbaum now, who works alongside of him doing all the animation stuff and also co-heading Disney Plus streaming content. So this guy has been with Kevin Feige for, since literally the beginning. He's been there since the beginning. So he knows how Kevin Feige works. They know what they're doing. He's been involved with What If, as they revealed, since the beginning of its concept. He was involved with Ragnarok. That was kind of his bigger push to production side of things. So I'm honestly okay with this, especially that he was like, well, thanks for the good response to What If, because we're going to have a lot more animation coming forward, from me. So, I mean, I'm excited by this. What's your take on this, Mitch? Let's go with you first.
This is essentially just making Marvel entertainment again.
Yep.
They absorbed the whole Jeff Loeb side to essentially reboot it.
Yeah.
Because you need the two divisions, really. But...
Rebrand it.
Yeah.
Oh, rebrand it, reboot it, like whatever word you want to use.
Yeah.
Take your begins with a re, you're fine.
Yeah.
They're basically. Yeah. It's just the whole, get rid of everything. Then we have our own stuff now. It's not under Ike. It's not under Loeb. It's their own thing now. Obviously more connected.
I was going to say, it's directly now talking to Kevin Feige instead of going behind his back and being like, we're going to use this character and now you can't, and sell the rights to Netflix because you can't stop us. Like, it's not that type of deal, which I think this is, in my opinion, this is exciting. I mean, Mitch, you were kind of leaning on that too. So what do you think as the bigger picture here?
I think you're about to get an explosion of animated content, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They weren't ever just going to do a What If. We've spoken about it a couple of times in here, but no, I think it's more just a case of you're going to get a lot more. of what you got now. Like, we've got a ton of stuff now, but you got 2 people working on everything.
Yeah.
The load is stretched.
Like, I would expect you'll see a lot more animation styles and stuff akin to what we saw with the preview for the new Star Wars anthology, where you had a whole bunch of different studios.
I personally wouldn't bank on that.
You think they're going to use the same animation style for everything?
Yeah.
Like
you look at Star Wars. Star Wars, literally, apart from Vision being the exception, everything is the same. I think.
And depending on the series, to me it like varies on the quality, because some of it's just oof, while the other ones are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be shocked if they're directly connected to the MCU, like part of What If and stuff, they keep the same animation. But if it's more experimental, like they're like, what if we do our own new Spider-Man cartoon that's not connected to everything? Then that's probably going to be a different animation style just to set it apart. Like, you know what I mean? For continuity's sake, just like.
I mean, it depends, because let's be honest, they're going to have their own vision.
Yeah,
Visions.
they are.
You're going to get like your anime studio take on Marvel. The Star Wars visions, they said it's not beholden to the timeline. It doesn't have to be canon. Doesn't mean it's not. Doesn't mean it is. Like it all depends on what the creators kind of went into it. So I think that's the place where that's where you get your different animation styles. But I think for the most part, it's all going to be like What If.
Plus, now, you bring up the canon thing. It's like, well, even if it's not canon, if it's well enough received, they can be like, well.
yeah, exactly.
It is now. Oh, okay. Like, yeah, I mean, kind of like what you hinted at there. Tristan, what's your bigger take on this as well? Like, what do you think, what do you make of this? What do you think is like sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, it's just you get more animation. We'll have actual, like I said before with other talks about this topic, where you'll get more animation that has more in-depth storytelling, and people, well, you still see it today where people think, it's animation, it's not really going to matter, and there's no, overarching subplots, and it's not going to be as deep. It's just going to be like, your villain of the week, which even in animation you can have really deep stories, and it doesn't have to be, it needs to be rated R, you need to see blood and all that. It's you don't really need like that just to tell a mature story.
True.
Like you can, like if you want to go back to some of the or like some animation that had like really mature storytelling or had some deep storytelling, I would go back to one of the ones that just popped in my head is like the original Avatar series, where it had really meaningful stories and they rarely ever showed blood.
Yeah. No. I agree with you with that. Like, times are changing, and I think that's also something that I would like to see, like maybe 90-minute animated films again from Marvel. Yeah. That'd be nice. Like,
I mean, times are changing, but people are still reluctant to see animation more than just for kids, because they like the rest of the industry has already moved past that, and they just see it as another vehicle to tell stories that you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell in live action.
It's like video games. 20 years ago, if you were to tell somebody in 15 years there's going to be this game called The Last of Us, and it's going to be one of the best told stories in any medium, they'd be like, a video game? No. Like, it's you got to change the perception, and I think people will eventually start to understand you can do it in animation, because there is great examples of it. So, I mean, yeah, I get some people's, reluctance, but it is there. Now, I do also want to just kind of roll this into this topic as well. At the same time, because recently FX and Hulu have been talking about all their projects, like the Alien series and all that, and the head of Hulu content was asked about Marvel and losing all the projects, and he said that they're actively talking to Disney and all their partners, including Marvel, for content. So it makes me think that maybe we could see something that's like, hey, look, if we really need to expand more, like maybe more MODOK. It doesn't fit the Disney Plus hold, but it can fit over here. I think they're willing to do it. So I think we could see a realistic future where it's like, Hulu has its own little thing going on over here as well. It's not integral to everything, but they can be more experimental. I hope at least.
Watch Hulu get that Deadpool show back.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
The Donald Glover one?
Exactly where I was going with this. I was like, I think I get what they're saying, because they said they want to produce that show, but they couldn't do it at the time because of the changing of the license and what it was tied up with. So it's got to be that show. I'm convinced. Like, come on. So
would you put like an Earth's Mightiest Heroes revival on Disney Plus or Hulu? You don't know on Disney Plus.
I would say you would do Disney Plus for that, right? But where do you take Spectacular Spider-Man?
Just throw it
in your
trash.
dreams.
Okay, that's exactly where it's going to stay, because that's exactly where they're going to go with it.
Because both sides are not going to have an agreement to anything.
I would say you never get Spectacular back, so let it go. Forget about it.
That thing has the chances are so low you can't even chart it. That's how bad it is. So it's like, yeah. Unfortunately, though, because that'd be great, but don't hold your breath. So yeah, I think we're all in agreement. This animation expansion, it's awesome. Just more content. And if you look at officially starting with this winter and rolling into next year, if you just look at the schedule, what's wrapping production and what's starting production and what's going to go where, we're literally going to be jumping Marvel Star Wars, Marvel Star Wars, Marvel Star Wars forever. From this point on out, there's not going to be weeks, maybe a week between some shows, but they're going to start alternating, and I won't be shocked if we start getting like 2 episodes a week from some of them, because they're getting there with how much they're producing. So,
well, it depends if Star Wars, falls flat in its face again.
Well, don't worry, because we know by now Mandalorian will be on season 7 and Cassian Andor will still be shooting.
It's true.
Jesus, that show's taken forever.
Maybe Obi-Wan would have just have wrapped at that point.
Insane. But, so Marvel Animation, get excited, people. Get real excited. You know who else is excited, like Marvel Animation? J.K. Simmons, because he's getting paydays. All sorts of paydays. And not the candy either. And not the heist game, bank theft. What was that game about anymore? Anyways, yeah, the payday.
Who's in the game?
No, the payday video game.
That's what it's called.
It's called just Payday, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, see, that segue kind of worked. Anyways, though, J.K. Simmons is getting paid for Venom because, well, we kind of speculated he was going to appear in it because he teased multiple Spider-Man movie appearances, and we all just assumed, he's J.K. Simmons. He doesn't understand Morbius isn't Spider-Man. But, yeah.
But is he just going to have like a cameo where Eddie's going to try out for the newspaper and say, no, you're fired, and that's it, he just walks off set?
I'm expecting that one, and that's it, yeah.
I'm just expecting what happened in Homecoming or Far From Home. He's just a floating head on the screen. No.
Wouldn't it be kind of confusing? Well, no, because Spider-Man's wanted for murder in that universe as well, so maybe he is, or maybe they are going to go, because the newspaper still exists in the Venom universe, because Avi Arad still thinks it's 2001, so that's carried over, so, it's... I wonder what are they going to do with that, because...
I think it'd be better if he just had a podcast.
Yeah, that's the smart way to go about it.
Yeah, it would be, because he just took a cue from the Spider-Man game where he does have a podcast and he does do a little bit of internet news anchoring, but most oftentimes you can hear him from podcasts. It'd be a lot easier that way instead of just trying to say, we still got newspapers in this universe.
Yeah, which they do because they're featured in like multiple scenes, and they do have a website too, so I suppose. But I am excited for J.K. Simmons, because say what you will, but are you ever going to find a better J. Jonah Jameson? Like, come on.
Well, no one's tried.
Well, that's true, but who's going to do it better, though? Like, he's literally that character personified. Like,
I mean, he is. I'm not going to ever say, he's a bad he's not a bad J.K. Simmons. He's not a bad Jameson. But it's just like, has anyone actually ever tried finding a different one? No.
You'd have to be in. I'm gonna.
I know there's no reason to actually go and find a new one when he's right there.
Right.
It's like, could someone else play him? I imagine so. I don't know who off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's someone else out there that could play that role.
Yeah, but I can't think of who. I remember for a while there, everybody was convinced it was going to be JV Smoove from Homecoming and Far From Home, and it was like, oh no, that was just he's a teacher. So
was it who? Oh, was it Ice Cube people wanted?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, I could really, I'd want to see what he'd do. He'd nail that role.
He would. It'd be a different type of role, but he would get that type of character across. Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, JK is getting paid. He's on those farmer insurance commercials.
Yeah, he is. State Farm or All Time Farmers or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah.
So yeah, he's getting work.
So this is another thing where it's like, with all these things going on, I'm kind of excited to see that J.K. Simmons is just going to play the same character in the multiverse, and it's like, no, you're one constant. You always hate Spider-Man. I really like that. It's just like, yes, we need this.
I say, do they try and make him look more like the Raimi one, or do they try and make him be consistent with what we have now?
When he was doing the reshoots or when he was spotted around the time Venom was shooting, he had more of the full head of hair like he did in the Raimi films. So, yeah. Just watch. We've all been conned, and Morbius says murderer on there because it's going to be set in Raimi-verse. Same with Venom. They're going to retcon that that's the Venom. It's going to be like, what? Oh.
I'd be cool with that.
They're going to do a proper Spider-Man 3 because that movie was garbage. It's a nice way to put it, so...
I'd be totally down for that.
Exactly, same.
Have old man Maguire.
Yeah.
Fight Tom Hardy.
If you're excited for more Spider-Man, sometime soon, possibly, along with Venom, Sony's entire future slate might be delayed. We don't know. Nobody's talking about anything. I mean, we knew Venom was getting delayed to mid-October for like 2 weeks before it was confirmed. Like, it was just like, guys, this is happening. We see it internationally. You started to tell your partners and everything. So they try to pretend like it wasn't, and then it was confirmed. And now it's like, again, I think it was Variety that reported. They're moving it to the 15th, but they're looking at January to March for Venom. I mean,
Christ.
Look, if that gets delayed to January to March, Morbius is getting delayed out of January. Spider-Man is going to what, July? Back to the July date.
That means Doctor Strange is going to have to move as well.
Doctor Strange moves back to November, 2 Novembers after it was supposed to come out. Oh my god. Yeah.
But at least with that movie, we haven't seen anything.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
It's not the Black Widow situation.
Yep. And I hope, because rumors are running rampant, that it's like, oh, trailer's incoming. If they do release a trailer, I hope it's very loose. It's like the next chapter. Don't commit to this fall, this spring, anything. Just be loose about it and show us minimal content. Because the more they show, the more trouble they get in because the anticipation is going to be too high. So I really hope that they're smart about how they market this. It's Sony, so but at least Marvel Studios can be like, hey guys, we really don't want to get ripped apart. It's kind of...
I mean, Marvel can say all they want, but will Sony listen? Probably not.
Yeah, it's how it's gone before, and sadly, like, it's disappointing that it's going to come to this, but I've honestly just told myself, I'm like, yeah, it's getting delayed. Don't even get hyped for it. Like, there's no point. There is no point, because we know it's going to happen. I mean, we look at it right now. The Suicide Squad bombed so hard that they already started pulling it out of theater chains. Like,
so you're trying to tell hype beasts to not get hyped when they already are hyped and they're going into a frenzy. Berating Marvel and Sony saying release the trailer.
Yes.
Non-stop every single day.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that ain't gonna work.
Trying to reason with the mob. Oh, yeah, that's never worked.
It's telling actors that are not even part of the situation to release the Spider-Man trailer. And it's like, what do you want me to do?
So I do also want to bring it up because an interesting piece of the conversation did pop up this week as well in regards to Sony. So, I know people will look at the Hotel Transylvania films and be like, nobody watches those, besides the fact that they make $500 million each film. So, you
say
know.
you say no one watches them, but if they release it on streaming services, they do realize that parents will leave it on for their kids on repeat for hours.
And I always, whenever a new one comes out, the theaters are full because kids go and it sells merchandise. So Sony is officially landing a deal with Amazon to stream it. And
be careful with Amazon; they'll redub it.
I'm
not bitter in the slightest.
Look, it's.
I know that one is a particular. I know what you're referencing to, but that one, that one has a particular thing about it, which is kind of dumb on both parts.
Well, Sony's dumb on all fronts because.
Well, the thing I'm referencing to make this thing, it's all on the original creators and on why that happened. But
yeah, I know what you guys are talking about, but that's kind of the whole Amazon aspect here is. Think of it this way. If they're willing to sell another big piece of this, and Sony needs these out there. We've talked about this. Ghostbusters is releasing before they release Venom. People just need to understand that. They are not sacrificing Venom. So Venom 15th, Ghostbusters a couple weeks later, that's not happening.
I find it really interesting that Sony's willing to stream all their animated movies than their live action. Because they have a big slate of animated movies with Sony Animation Productions. So.
Yeah. And those films have been more consistently profitable than their other stuff, which is again, Sony's in dire position here, and we know that they already have Amazon deals because they're producing Silk. It got ordered to series. The bigger factor here is that I've seen everybody bring up is if Spider-Man or Venom or anything was to go to streaming, the complications of that would be just astronomical because Sony recently locked in the Amazon deal, the Disney Plus deal, the Netflix deal. They have the AMC deal because that's their own thing, and Stars, these guys are pretty much a little bit everywhere, and you would have to assume Disney co-financing some of these films would be involved in the negotiations of what happens moving forward. But at the same time, with Sony, I honestly will not be shocked if every delay we start hearing this film is just going to get dropped here because we have to. We got to make money because what else are they going to do? I mean, remember when they owned James Bond? They were like, we're producing one more, but we're going to dump this because we can't afford it. It's like, bro, you don't say that in a public light. They were just like, but we can't.
It seems like they're just going all in with their animation studios at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think Hotel Transylvania is a test bed.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, those movies, they can just pump them out and they're cheap. They're not expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make its money back on Amazon. So it's just like, I say it's going to make its money back. They've already, it's like, 100 million Amazon have paid for that movie or something?
Yeah.
They're going to be paying, we don't know. I don't know if it's going to be like how Neon Genesis was recently, where it's free to watch or it's included with Prime, or if it's going to be a paid for.
I would assume it's probably included, but who knows?
So it's one of those, see how it does.
From what I remember, it's like one of those different deals where it'll be paid for, and then after a certain while it'll be included.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I assume with Sony it's going to be one of those you have to pay for it.
And I mean, let's say hypothetically, if we got into a position where if they were to put Venom or even Spider-Man on if for some reason Disney was able to work out a deal and Spider-Man goes to Disney Plus, that thing will easily blow away Black Widow on Disney Plus without a problem. They'd be like, guys, we made $250 million opening weekend on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'd be huge.
Yeah.
So
I mean, everyone would be subscribing to Disney Plus just for Spider-Man.
Yep.
That doesn't matter the quality of the movie. They will
just
do it
get
just for Spider-Man.
Yeah. Speaking of Spider-Man, how about many spider people in Secret Wars. Because, look, I don't know how much more evidence we need that this thing is going to happen. Like, it's...
Yeah.
At this point, it's literally, you can't refute the facts anymore. Cause...
It's weird because like I saw it trending yesterday, but when I was looking around, people were arguing which version are we getting? Are we getting Secret Wars 1, 2, or the 2015 version?
How to tell me you've never read Secret Wars without telling me you haven't read Secret Wars?
Yeah. Yep.
Literally all three are the same story. Spoilers.
Yeah. I know they are. It's just people's like, well, which version are you talking about? It's just the people are arguing because they want the '80s version. I'm like, are you sure about that?
I mean, yeah, they're the same. It doesn't matter which one you get.
Yeah, no, but there's people. It's just there's certain things they just don't want. Certain characters in there. No matter.
I got a spoiler for everybody. This is an exclusive scoop. You're not getting either one or any version of anything because it's MCU Secret Wars and they're going to streamline it and make it good.
Now, what does the MCU Secret Wars look like?
All right. As I've been saying, this whole thing's got to be a phase. Because the way he explained it, it's like, write us a novel and simplify everything. Like,
Marvel... That's Jim Starlin, wasn't it? Yeah. No, not Jim Starlin. Jim Starlin was something else with Shang-Chi, wasn't it, recently? Yeah. I'm going to
It was Shooter, Jim Shooter, right?
That's the one. Yeah.
I mean, the way to simplify Secret Wars is kind of like how they're doing the multiverse. You're going to explain it. They already mentioned Secret Wars, for the love of God. And in the opening of Loki, they're like, oh, multiverse war. Oh, okay. Like, so they're kind of setting it up already in the background. I think realistically, you're just going to use everything you establish in What If, everything you're going to do in Multiverse of Madness, assign them each a battle realm or whatever, and like, go at it. Just give us that $5 billion box office take, okay. And in 5 years from now, whoever clips this and goes, actually, it made $3.8 billion. That's an exaggeration, you moron. So thanks for clipping this 5 years from now because you have no life.
I just want to see the incursions.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
I can't remember. Did 1 and 2 have the incursions, or was it purely just to be under?
I think it was Beyonder because it's been a while since I've read
the only one I remember is the most recent ones because I haven't seen the original since early 2000s. So, like the first time I read them and the last time I read them. So it's yeah.
You mean you haven't read the Beyonder with his flared trousers and perm more than once?
I try not to.
See, that's the role Mark Hamill's got to play. It's absolutely got to be the Beyonder.
That would be great. That would honestly be great. I'd be down for that. Maybe that's why they're saving him. That could be honestly.
True. It's very true.
He's gonna show up and drink the blue milk.
Right. So Jim Shooter wrote both Secret Wars 1 and 2.
Yep.
And then obviously Hickman wrote the third one.
And it's interesting when he talks about what was happening because he's like, oh, it's a good thing I read the contract before I signed it because I knew exactly what this was for. It's like, yeah. And we just
so, hey, this thing's like 12 times the size of a normal book contract. It's obviously for a movie.
Amazing.
But people talking about it's like it's a massive surprise. It's like, you're being shocked at every movie with Infinity Stone is leading to Infinity War. It's like, guys, they've spent 12 years doing one continuous story and dropping little bits in here and there to tell you where we're going. And obviously telling you where we're going because Thanos was there in Avengers. They've literally done that now in the last 6 months. How are people still surprised?
I mean...
Okay, now I remember from the first iteration of Secret Wars, it's basically just a battle royale at that point. Yeah. So heroes versus villains, but the villains fight each other for unknown reasons.
Well, see, that's what they're going to do. They're actually going to have the movie just be an in-game event in Fortnite with all MCU skins, and they're going to make trillions at this point. So this is the new normal. That's why the Russo brothers were doing all that with Fortnite.
Yeah.
Imagine dropping a giant plot point for a movie in Fortnite. Who could ever be that
Oh,
Oh.
I forgot about
Somehow Palpatine returned.
my face just then pulled you up. What the hell is he talking about? And I was like,
funny.
well,
Somehow Palpatine returned, Mitch. Somehow.
I mean, they try to get Star Wars and What If, so.
Oh,
man.
I'm blown away by Disney's decision sometimes, but I really shouldn't be, because, look, I'm just excited by whatever they do with Secret Wars. I want them to, and they will. They're gonna go all out on this. Like, it's a given that this thing is gonna be huge.
Yeah.
And
my thing is, we talked about this a couple of weeks back. It's like, is this the end for the Kang storyline, or is this a result of the Kang storyline?
ooh.
Because I'm still firmly on that this is a result of the Kang storyline.
Probably.
Like how Kang's a result of Thanos.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would assume it is like exactly like that. Like, whatever Kang does at the end, he's gonna be like, "Oh, you defeated me. Oh boy, you have even worse things coming." And then it's like, you can show up the Beyonder or like, I don't know, a real living tribunal and stuff. They're like, we gotta fix this. So we're gonna see which multiverse wins and we restore the sacred timeline. Battle World, here you go. Oh, okay, cool. And like, that could be an interesting approach to it. Like, I don't know, because it's gotta be the result of Kang. Because they've even said, they're like, oh, Thanos, that was like nothing compared to what Kang is gonna do. So that right there should tell you, it's like, this is gonna be even bigger, right? Which makes me believe that the Secret Wars movie is probably Avengers Secret Wars, right? Like, it can't just be Marvel Secret Wars, or can it?
Could they have the balls, the sheer bollock size to whack this on Disney Plus? And make it, we've got Secret Invasion and Armor Wars as a Disney Plus show. Granted, Armor Wars was an arc for the solo character, but Secret Invasion was huge.
Yeah. I mean,
But I can't see it personally ever being on Disney Plus. I think it's way too big.
yeah.
I've seen people talk about, oh, it's going to be on Disney Plus. I was like, there's no way.
The only way it's doing it if it's what I said it is, and it's a saga with interconnecting story TV series at the same time. So it's like, oh, you want to find out what's happening over here? Watch this.
Yeah, essentially tie-in episodes.
Yeah. They would have to do what the old Dark Tower pitch was, where they're like, all right, we're doing a couple seasons. They're going to run, and then we're going to do the big blow-off movie, and then back to a season to the resolve, and then the big blow-off movie at the end. So they could technically do Secret Wars Part 1, and a Part 2, and in between dump a bunch of the shows all part of the Secret Wars. You're like, yeah, this is...
So you have Secret Wars 1 be the movie that sets everything up. Then you have a bunch of TV shows. You do Secret Wars 2, that is the middle part. Then you have a bunch of TV shows. Then you have Secret Wars 3.
A decade of Secret Wars and $30 billion in revenue. Genius.
No, that's 3 years. That's 3 years.
At this point, it is actually, though. That's not a lie. Oh, how far this franchise has come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. Like, whatever it is, it's literally... Like, this is one of the only things that Kevin Feige has openly said, oh yeah, Secret Wars, I love that, we're going to do that. It's like, dudes, come on.
Even the Russos, like, oh, we've come back for Secret Wars. It's just like, okay, we get it, shut up.
Yeah.
Just let us have a break so we can get the break.
Let me watch the damn movie.
I guarantee you the Russo brothers already have contracts for it, and they just haven't spoken about it till they announce it.
It wouldn't surprise me, to be perfectly honest. It wouldn't surprise me.
It's too good not to do it. And they're the ones that would do it. And it'd be like a homecoming for them. Homecoming.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So yeah. Secret Wars. I'm excited for that there, Eternals. That's gonna be good.
Oh. I hope so.
I like that Kevin Feige was like, I don't know, Disney Plus, who knows? I don't know. We'll see. All right. Cool.
Nick said Aquaman made $1 billion because there wasn't a Star Wars movie. If it wasn't because there wasn't a Star Wars movie, Nick, every movie would have made $1 billion.
I mean, the Jason Momoa factor was huge on that one. Women love him, so you know.
Yeah, I suppose. I still don't know that. I don't get how Venom made nearly $1 billion, to be honest.
Because of
China.
Yeah. Probably.
You forget about China. That market is huge. Oh.
All I needed to do was just put Eminem, an Eminem track.
Oh God!
There you go.
Most of the budget probably went on that song.
Was that an original song made for that movie?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it was, and that's why it wouldn't be cheap when it was original.
This is why Sony's in the position they're in. This is the exact reason.